Travis. How you doing today, my bud?
Leighton, how are you? I'm doing fine. We're up here in the tundra of upstate New York right now.
Yeah, I heard you got a little weather, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I say we probably got about 20 inches of snow outside right now. Thank you.
Did you get any of the ice storms or just snow?
Just snow, no ice. No ice up here, but it's been frigid cold. It's probably the first year that a lot of the Finger Lakes around here are going to freeze over, and you'll be able to go ice fishing and play on the ice.
Nice.
I've been on the snowmobile a couple of times. Looking forward to getting out a little bit more.
Nice. Winter wonderland.
It's a winter wonderland right now. I actually love it. I like playing in the snow. So
yeah, I did when I was younger, but now I don't like the cold anymore. And since I'm moving to California, I am really a Southern California sissy.
Oh, I'm telling you, I told you I lived there for 18 years. San Diego, California, from 02 to 2019 when I moved here in May to start the farm.
Damn. How did you adjust to the first winter?
It wasn't bad. You know, I'm a big snowboarder. I'm used to it. What I really noticed about living here, though, is I think time goes by faster because you're always chasing the seasons.
Yep.
When you're in Southern California, it's pretty much the same season. You have a rainy season, but you know, it's just beautiful. I lived at the beach, so yeah, I didn't really. That's the one thing I noticed. I noticed time goes by a little bit faster.
He's talking. I'm sorry. I'll try to comment.
It's all good. You might have one of my cats come in and do the same thing. She was laying here for the last couple hours watching me work.
Yeah, he's kind of mad at me because I was gone most of the day, and I try not to do that. But
gotcha.
He's going to misbehave a little bit until he calms down. Come here. You're okay. You're okay. You don't need to cry. You're here. So anyway, yeah, the audience is going to be in for one heck of a good show today. I mean, what you put together was super impressive, buddy. And so, first of all, Happy New Year to you and your family, and hope 2026 is the best one ever. And
you too.
Without further ado, let's get into this because I'm really excited to see it.
All right, cool. All right, so that's brought up. Okay, I could just give an introduction to myself, and we can go from there, right?
Please do.
All right, so my name's Travis Williams. I'm the cannabis cultivation manager at Taproot Fields. I'm a co-founder of Taproots. Me and my good friend Josh Allen started this company, came to fruition in about 2018, fall of 2018. He ended up moving back here. We were living together in California at the beach house, and really wanted to, you know, start a business together and do something fun, you know. And the hemp business was kind of booming at that point. We wanted to get our license to do that, start growing hemp, and that was in 2018. We got the license, but we didn't really have a property at that point. And we were gonna do some indoor rent a place indoor, and it just got to be way too expensive. We didn't even pull the trigger on it. So this property came up out of nowhere, and it just so happens, you know, his family used to own the business that was adjacent to this property. And he calls me up. It was late one night, and he's like, "Travis, I can't believe this, but there's a property that just came for sale that's right down the right. It's adjacent to Welch Allen." And we started looking at it all. He's sending me all the pictures and all the aerials. I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. Because we were like, just kind of like, we didn't have a property to start growing on. And we had to, like, you know, use somebody else's farmland to even, you know, get our license and do all that. So it was almost like a dream come true property. I flew out in February, right around now, and to go look at the property. So we're trudging through like about a foot of snow, and we walk out to this open field, and we've built this property from scratch. There's nothing was on it. And so we walk out and we look at the fields, and he's like, well, this is it. And it was just, I saw it, I saw the opportunity, and, here we are today, and, we're just growing. Now we're doing cannabis. We're still probably going to get into hemp and doing more of that, but we're doing, tons of fruits and vegetables. And we really want to make this like an agro-tourism resort, and we're connected with affiliated with a hotel resort that's right across the street that uses all of our fruits and vegetables and herbs in their restaurant. So yeah, it's pretty much a dream come true for us.
How long did the development phase take? I mean,
we're still under development. We're going on 8 years now. So 2019 we broke ground in May, and I'm telling you, like, there was, like, he had the house, but there was not a road, nothing, just an open field. It was farmland, so it's been farmed for close to 100 years. He's got aerial footage from like the 1930s. I don't know how they did it and what plane they used, but it was it was just open farmland that's always been used to like farm hay and grass and you name it.
So it did have a farmhouse though?
Yeah, there was a house on the property. So the house, it was 36 acres tillable, I think about 50 some acres total with the house and the property. So he lives on the property, and that's down the hill, and then the farm goes up kind of, his driveway shares the property. So you go left to his house and you go right up the driveway, and then you're up into the farm area.
So where do you live? Did you buy another house out there?
Yeah, when I came back here, I still had the beach house, and I didn't want to lose the beach house, so I was living with my parents for a little bit here. They haven't finished off basement. I lived with them for a little bit. I was, paying double rent, and I didn't want to really, I didn't want to lose the house in California. So I kept that house. This is, if anything went sour here, I didn't want to stay here. I had the option to go back to the beach house, but I eventually saved up enough money to buy a house back here. And in 2021, I bought a house that's like 4 miles, not even 3 miles from the farm.
Gotta love your commute.
Oh my God. I mean, from what I used to do in the film business out in California, 18 years, my commute is amazing. But I'm real close too. So if anything goes wrong at the farm, I can be there. It's nice. I have lunch with my girlfriend. Usually I can bring her home some lunch if I wanted to. And it's awesome.
Well, congratulations, dude. I mean, it's very rare in life that you get such a beautiful opportunity, and clearly you had done the right things, and the universe rewarded you for whatever you had done before you started this. So
with a little help from my friends and family, that's for sure.
All right, well, let's go ahead and roll in and see where this goes.
All right, sounds good. All right, so I figured we'd start off by talking about sourcing. I contacted you through Instagram. I knew about you. I went to an organic cultivators conference in Massachusetts. This was in 2022. I met a lot of people. I met, Chris Trump. Wendy Kornberg was the person who did that conference with a few other people. Ben Arcadia.
Love Ben.
I met him. I started really learning about your horizontal systems through Ben, and that was really, I really first started seeing or hearing about people doing living soil beds, indoors.
Uh-huh.
And my friend Josh Turner from Yellowhammer Genetics really kind of opened my eyes. He's like, yeah, you got to check out Green Life Productions. You got to check out what Steve Cantwell's doing out in Pahrump, out in near Vegas. And so I looked up, Green Life Productions. I was like, holy shit, man, this is doable. And I was never going to really go that direction to do living soil. We were going to probably do, cocoa drip, what we knew how to do anyway. And this is, we're still in the hemp game. And so I met another guy, Aaron Field, who he came on the farm for an open house one day, and we became friends. Just started talking. I took Dr. Elaine's course. He did also. He was into like doing Korean natural farming. We became friends, and we did a IMO pile together. And I brought him on to help us basically consult and help us, learn how to do living soil. And he had taught classes in the past, but he worked for a company called Eden Naturals out in I don't know. I think Eden. They're in Colorado, but he did.
Oh, yeah. That he was one of the first adopters.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. And they had they have a beautiful greenhouse out there. It's all cedar. I think they dug into the ground actually to go to the bottom of the actual barren soil. And so I started hanging out with him, and he's like, I can teach you how to do this. And we did some horizontal soil beds. We did a 4x8s just to start off, and it was really successful. We had some hiccups and at first because we mixed our own soils and everything was a little bit hot, and we didn't go and build the soil right off the bat, but it was that was kind of really like we were kind of like a turning point where we were going to go this direction. So, well, I contacted you. When me and Aaron are talking, he's like, if I was going to do it again, I'd like to do it, with Leighton's recipe of doing the E, A, and O horizons, is doing the drainage and doing the A horizon and mixing it. And I really dove deep with you, and I was kind of helping him out on the back end because he has his own grow here in New York as well. And I was really we were diving deep, like with just, sourcing materials and really doing the balancing. And I made a slideshow here just on how I really started doing everything. So if we can go into that, it'll kind of bring us through the timeline of it.
Sure. Let's, whenever you're ready. But thanks. That's a great backstory so people understand how where you got.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you go in this direction, you're not going back. It's you're doing it one time here.
Yep.
So everybody can see that there. Was that?
Yep. Taproot.
Taproot okay. So go through here. So this is the sourcing. I found concrete sand, and this company was like 2 miles down the road from my house. And I think you remember when we were going through all this, I was sending you the pictures like of the different types of sand, and you wanted sand that was real gritty. This was a state certified concrete sand. So dropping it off in this area with a big tarp to start really, this was before Christmas of 2024. So gives you an idea. So this is the silt and clay that I had to source. Same area, same company. When we got you pointed me in the right direction with Milford Farms. With that, could you explain to the audience about Milford Farms and their deposit?
Oh yeah, dude.
You might as well, because that's huge.
Dude, when I found this place, I was like a kid in a candy shop. I was running around the hills, and they don't usually like people climbing on the piles and all that shit. Yeah, I'm tearing around this whole 25-acre site, and I became good friends with the then manager, who was an old timer. He was a smart, spry old guy, got it. So then eventually he explained to me how this was formed, and I guess he had been managing the waste side of it when Hershey's was making chocolate across the street. So he was always a part of this, what we call a dirt pile, right? And so the goal was they would take the sludge out of the bottom of the chocolate makers after they had gotten the good stuff out of it. So the smells and the actual cacao, they get it out of it, and then what's left is all this plant matter. So they started dumping it across the street in this just open field, just right on the ground. And then the neighbors started complaining because it started stinking, went anaerobic. It stunk to hell. So then they come along and they say, okay, we need you to cover it. And we want you to use sand so that, it doesn't erode and cause a problem. And so then they were required to put X amount of feet of this sand that they specced out of a concrete facility down in New Milford. And, everything was going along good. But then after it rained, because the sand was so porous, the odor came back. So, again, the whole neighbors started rallying, all this, BS at town meetings, and you know what that's like. So, Hershey's dragged their feet quite a bit, but eventually they caved, and it was decided that they should put a clay cap over it. So they mined this clay. I think it was down in Danbury somewhere. And so they had all their local resources. So they put down a 3-4 feet of this black sludge, and then a couple feet of sand, and then a couple 2 to 3 feet of clay as a cap. And then they built layers. So when you saw like where they dug in, there's all these it's stripes in it, because as they built it up, they changed the material. Now you would never have known that if you had seen it and they had not started to mine it. Like you just thought it was just a giant pile, right?
Right.
But once New Milford, New Milford is owned by a really big compost company out of, I'm pretty sure it's Chicago, somewhere in the Midwest. And they go around and buy up these facilities that are more or less, kind of defunct. And so this particular facility really wasn't going anywhere. They weren't making any money. And it was permitted to do a lot of things. And so this big company comes in and they build a giant compost machine. So this is a barn with a pipe on the bottom of it where they blow air in it. So the air moves up through the compost. And that was like the beginnings of it, when they were taking in local yard waste. And this is a very, very profitable business, because you get paid the stuff to bring to you, and then you take that stuff and make something with it, and then you get to sell it on the other end. So it's a very profitable business to be in giant commercial composting, as long as you got the money to invest in the infrastructure.
Yep.
So, they ran into some problems, like with the leachate, like when it rained, the barn was open, so the rain would come in, fill up the pipe where the air used to go, and run out the other side, causing odors, so then they've had to put in what's called a biofilter. That was another unbelievable find. When they were changing it, I told them, all right, all of this, put it on top of the hill, you start blending it into my mixes, because that was so loaded with microbial and humic acid and fulvic acid. I think I chewed that up within the first year of working with them. But anyway, so long story short, they realized that there was this pit, or this giant pile, on their property that was, basically sand, silt, and clay. So they got into the topsoil business. And that's when things really started to boom for this company.
Sand, silt, and clay, and organic matter, right?
Right. Everything you need.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
And so then they started mixing up rooftop blends, golf course blends. Their business just exploded. And along come I, back in 12, when I first found them. Yeah, it was probably right around 12, maybe 11. And I'm just a kid in a candy shop, and so I talked to the old timer who's been there, since he was a kid, and I basically tell him, like, hey, can you make me custom blends? And he was a little skeptical at first, but I explained to him what I'm doing. I'm an engineer. Like, I have to deal with these stupid landscape architects that completely misappropriations in their planting methodologies. In other words, plant a swamp maple and surround it with English boxwoods that don't want their feet wet, and the maple does. So I need to be able to blend these mixes so that when I plant them, the plants thrive. And he's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. And he gave me really fair pricing. It was not ridiculous. It was in line with other soil products that he had.
Yeah.
But each one was custom blended for me. And then rolls around, I think it was 2018 was the first year we did the regenerative organic cannabis conference in Portland, Oregon. And I remember, part of my talk was, I start the day out talking about soils, right? Because we're organic and regenerative cannabis production, not cocoa, not pots, none of that. And I start with engineering, and I start talking about, the properties of sand and properties of clay and how they're radically different. And that, if you're not using sand, clay, and silt, then you can never hit genetic potential with your plants. I don't care how much you feed them with your nutrient bottles.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that are locked up in that sand, silt, and clay that you can only get out of it if you have the right microbes to mine those individual materials. And each one of them, there's a whole different community that does the work in those individual particles. And so then at the end, I talked about the horizontal soil system and how I'd used this in, these super high-end landscapes. I think the biggest one I ever did was had an $800,000 plant palette. The overall landscape, just the landscape, was 3.8 million when it was completed. And, the architects were like blown away because they write in 20% plant loss because, the plant goes through shock when you dig it up, put it in a box, travel it halfway across the country, and then throw it in the ground in a new environment. So when I completed the project and not a single plant had died, the head guy, the owner, cornered me and was like, "What the hell are you doing? How did you accomplish this?" And so I told him, I said, "Well, we set up a temporary nursery. Remember that? Every time I figured out on the Gantt chart that I was going to need these plants for this area, I would order them. They'd come in, 2 to 3 weeks early, and I'd start detoxing them on this, what's called a compost extract." And he goes, "I make my own compost." I go, "Well, have you ever microscoped it?" He's like, "No, why would I?" Well, there's a big difference between what I want to call chemical or chemistry compost. Yeah, it still works. It's still a fertilizer. But if you don't have the biology, you're not going to help the plant, relax, have its defenses, not stress out. So I jack them up with this, compost extract 2 or 3 times before they ever got planted. And when we did plant them, I was spraying the existing soil to get it ready. So there was no transition whatsoever. So there was no plant shock. And as soon as they got planted in the ground, they exploded. And he saw it. He was like, "Jesus Christ, these plants are healthy." So then when I told the cannabis communities about this experience, dude, I got laughed off the stage. Like literally, I was made fun of. "You don't grow cannabis. You don't know what you're talking about." And I'd snap back, "Dude, you grow one plant. You're not special, right? I have to deal with hundreds of plants, thousands of different species, all that want different things. Yeah, you make some good weed. Cool, good for you, proud of you. But don't give me shit and say I can't grow weed. It's a fucking weed, dude."
Yeah, right.
That kind of pissed some people off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like Kev Jodry, he smiled ear to ear because he was sick of these spoiled little fucking bitches' attitudes that they were something special.
Right.
So I made a lot of good friends, but I definitely upset a lot of the egotistical bullshitters that come along with cannabis production. So anyway, that's a long story short on Milford
I
Farms.
just wanted to give you the background. I'd give everybody the background on Milford Farms because it's been a big proponent of what we've used here. And to go back into sourcing, I had to source some silt and clay from a local source here because the amount of clay that was in the Milford Farms wasn't enough. So I had to source some other. That's what I'm showing here. So this is just bringing it to the farm, laying it in this area because we had to bring it into our other barn to dry it out now, because it was wet. And so I had to actually get it sort of dry because we want it dry when it's going into our mixes. You'll notice that when I'm doing my mixing, and it'll be coming up here shortly, We did have to take some clay balls out, and I'm doing that on the conveyor belt, and you'll see. But it was a lot of like breaking this silt and clay up. Oh man, it was a job. So this is the 3/4 inch minus, the 2 inch minus rock that we found. Another local spot, landscaping company. You really like the color of this rock, so this is what we went with. But this is just showing. I wanted to show people like sourcing and all the inputs that we did to actually make our beds. So, and then this is all the build a soil, and this is the tent where we took all the silt and clay and laid it out and dried it for a good month or so, and had to break it down and run the skid steer over it. It was a job. The farm crew.
Maybe you should tell them it was in the middle of winter and everything was frozen. That's
another whole thing. We're gonna get into that. I remember Leighton telling me, he's like, "You can't make this shit up." You couldn't. It was wild that we did it right now. Last year is when we were actually doing this build out. I would rather wait till spring so everything thaws out, and I'll explain that a little bit later. So. This was just showing people, hey, this is how we sourced everything. This is our build a soil. Build a soil we used was ultra clean. Least amount of heavy metals is in that ultra clean. We grow commercially, so we had to have the least amount of heavy metals in our topsoil, which was our O Horizon. Another thing that build a soil does, and some people don't know this, they put about 100 pounds of mountain silica. And I think it's Mountain Organic Silica is the company. Don't quote me. You could look that up yourself. But they actually put about 100 pounds in per yard. And what that does is silica helps to take out heavy metals as well.
Yep. Yeah, and they probably mined diatomaceous earth, or used a diatomaceous earth mine, and then what's called hammer milled it, turned it into dust.
Okay.
And that's great because that's a natural form of silica, and people don't understand how important silica is in a ton of different plant processes. So
yeah, so we went with that soil. It's right out the gate. It was awesome. It's really the testing that I saw that when our saturated paste, because every time Build a Soil does a batch, we ordered 88 yards. Both batches they gave us the saturated paste and the soil test. So
it's COA.
Exactly. So that just shows you what we all our sourcing. So next is our build out, and I'm going to walk you guys through that. So what we used, because we have heated floors in these greenhouses, so we had to get the beds off the ground. On our last build out, we used just pallets, plastic pallets. It's good, but you can't really clean underneath a plastic pallet. So we found these racks. I don't know if you remember, we already had our beds ordered. These are custom beds. So they're 64 feet long by 55 inches wide and 24 inches high. So we found these racks. They're called stack racks. They're about 5 by 5. And it was perfect sizing for our beds. Josh Cole's one of my team members. Just amazing. He found these. He does a lot. He did a lot of the design and build out for this. My team is awesome at Taproot Fields. I think it really comes down to like working with the right team to make the magic happen. So Josh found these racks, and we went with them. We were blown away. They're coated. What we really needed to do was put a liner underneath. So I think you suggested it was either pond liner. We went with rubber roofing.
Yeah,
we found the rubber roofing. I think it's about, don't quote me on this, but it's pretty thin. I want to say like 1/36, 1/16, something like that. I don't know what the exact measurement is, but as you can see on this picture, we lined the rubber underneath because we didn't want these racks to actually rust out, and we really wanted to be able to hold the water too if we ever wanted the water from underneath. And it was the option we went with.
Well, it's a critical part of the horizontal system. You have to have that pan under there.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the water is going to leak out all over the floor.
exactly. Yes. So this is showing Brian, another one of our crew members. We're just basically everything had to be perfect because we had to have very limited space we're working with, but we had to be able to get a scissor lift up the aisles.
Yep.
So this is Josh and Flavio lining up one of our beds. As you can see, this is the last bed going in. We kind of built our greenhouse from left to right. So we started off with the bed on the left, and then we built all the way to the right, built the other one down the middle, and then this is our last one. So this kind of gives you an idea of like these guys putting them in.
Now, did you do that so that you could run the skid steer in and out of there to load? Or?
No, we didn't know, but we did. So we couldn't run a skid steer in here, but what we did was we used, the yard sacks, especially the A Horizon, because we were putting that. You'll see it here in a minute. We were throwing everything into the yard. Well, Build a Soil comes in yard sacks, and then our A Horizon went in yard sacks. So we would put that on pallets. The skid steer would take it over to the greenhouse, and then we would use a pallet jack to get that down. So we could build these beds, and this last third bed, we could take the pallet jack and just take our yard sacks down.
Nice.
Now this last one, we couldn't do that. So we everything was brought in, and then we had to put, you'll see it in a minute, we had to put everything in 5-gallon buckets, and then we used a scaffolding, and we straddled the bed, and we'd put 10 buckets on, fill 10 buckets, and then go down the bed, dump the buckets in, and then it was like an assembly line. We had people shoveling, and another crew coming back to fill the buckets on the scaffolding.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good logistical plan. Love it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
It's something that a lot of these people don't think about, like logistically how to do this.
Yeah.
And they either make mistakes that makes the whole process a lot harder because they didn't take the time to properly plan and
Well, that's the thing, it's a lot of physical labor, and you realize you're doing it one time.
Yeah.
You got one shot to do this. When you do this, especially at this scale, you don't want to do it again.
You can't afford to do it again.
Yeah, our bodies hurt after this month of building these beds out. I was tired for sure. So, all right, so we'll keep going here. So when we're layering it in, this is our first, sand layer. What we wanted to do, and I think I sent you these pictures. What we wanted to do is we wanted to measure, okay, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. And then we did I think we put about 3.5 inches of sand and rock in that bottom layer.
Yep.
And what this did was just give us a reference point. So when we're filling, we know, okay, I got this amount of sand ordered for, I have only a certain amount of sand ordered and rock and everything for these beds. So we overshot. We always want to do that, but you wanted to make sure your calculations were right. So we came up with this, and so you can see the first 3 lines are 3 inches. We went about 1/2 inch above that, and you said about 1/4 inch below the living soil layer, the layer there, the
quarter inch. Your E wants to be 1/4 inch lower than your outlet.
The liner, exactly.
But making sure that it can get out would not affect the A horizon. You don't want to turn into a swamp.
Exactly. So that's exactly what we did, and you'll see in more pictures here. But then that next line is our A horizon. So we'd fill that to our A horizon, and it was 6 inches. So we did 3.5 inches sand and rock, and then we went up another 6 inches.
Which follows the formula 1, 2, 4.
1, 2, 4. Yep. So this is Brian. We're using a trowel to really get it. We had 2 of these trowels, and we basically to get it evenly put out. So we're coming in with the buckets, you know, on the scaffolding, because we brought our sand in. There's another. So when we brought our sand in, it was totally frozen. I mean, it was a tundra. So we had to break up the sand, bring that into the greenhouse. We put the rock in first and the sand was behind it, but we had to it would take 2 days just for the sand to thaw to get it into the buckets to start putting it into these beds. So it was already wet. We didn't even have to wet it down. It was not dry. So
did you do a gentle watering to just make sure everything went down, or you just trusted the?
We did a little. I didn't really do too much because we used a tamper.
Oh, there you go.
I'll show you. Yeah,
the soil, the sand was already wet. So
the sand was already wet, so we didn't really need to do it. I know you mentioned that, and when I mentioned to you that it was so wet, and we just used a tamper, you'll see. So this is us putting it in, 1 inch. Then you can see here we are with the scaffolding and the rock. So we would fill 10 buckets, go down the row, dump however many buckets it would take. And we would figure it out, after a couple squares, we'd figure out how many buckets it would take to do a square. And then we'd come in, go down the line, and then take the scaffolding back, and then you would have 10 more buckets full.
That is so cool. The bakers are perfect for that.
Yeah. I got this idea of using the scaffolding from Collective Elevation. Okay. Collective Elevation out in Montana. They used the scaffolding and they rigged their scaffolding to have a trap door. So when they were bringing I think they used Kiss Organics, when they were bringing their O Horizon in, they had a bottom. Their bottoms were cut out of their sacks, and they would have a trap door, and they would just open that door, and the whole sack would just pour out. And they were using these scaffoldings. So that's where I got this idea. So when you're doing this, I got a lot of ideas just really surfing through Instagram, just seeing what, and I saw Tyler from Grassroots Fabric Pots posted this post, and I was like, oh shit, this is how we're going to do it. So.
Yeah, it is a great tool.
Yeah, you're racking your brain on how you're gonna do it for months. It's but then you just see how it all came together.
Well, that's what I always loved about you, was you're so thorough, and you want to think things all the way through.
Yeah. I would definitely
maybe too far, but at the end of the day, it worked.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not a perfectionist. I mean, but I really want to, like I said, you got one shot to do this. I wanted to do it, do it to the book, to how you were teaching it. So this shows here how we would, this is our third layer in, and we would pour the sand in, and then we were tamping it down. So you can see it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's homogeneously mixed by doing it in layers.
All right, so here's a big one I wanted to show. So this is putting in our Rise and Thrive, our fish brew, which I love to talk about fish brew. Sasha came to our party last year. She said she told you got to come to one of ours. She's like, Travis throws an awesome party. You got to come out one year for that.
I know she did. She ranted and raved about that party.
Yeah,
I didn't even know she was a smoker. She kept that,
Yeah, I don't think not too much, but her daughter was living in town for some, she was living in Skaneateles for a 4-month period or 6-month period. So she calls me up. She's like, listen, I'm going to be in town and we're coming this date. I go, really? I go, you should probably move your date because our harvest party is going to be this date. So she calls me back. She's like, that's when we're going to do it. We're coming then. And we had the Easy Star All-Stars come in and play. Pretty much it was I don't know if you know Easy Star All-Stars. They're a big reggae band, but they cover Pink Floyd, and they do it reggae style. They do dark side. They call it Dub Side of the Moon, and they do Michael Jackson, Beatles. So we had them come in and do a show for us for our harvest party last year. It was awesome. But anyways, long story short, I'm getting off on a tangent here about that. We'll save that for later. This is how we put our fish brew in. Now, you said to use a pump sprayer. Yeah. We had this This is a diaphragm pump. I use this pump sprayer for IPM. You could put, sulfur, whatever you're using IPM wise. This will be a really good backpack for that. It's also put a good one for microbials if you're doing K and F, whatever. But it worked out really well to put in the fish brew, the Rise and Thrive.
Yep.
So here we are putting it in. This is your glazed donut effect. You can kind of see, how well this sprayer put it in. This sprayer only got clogged a couple times. It wasn't foolproof, but you just have to shake it up. Rise and Thrive wasn't that bad. Bold Flow, we did not use the sprayer though.
Yeah, no, you can't.
So, and I'd like to talk about, right now we could talk about a little bit about Fish Brew. I mean, what an amazing product. You've done the testing. I really want to do the testing through Andy Marsh. I haven't done that yet. I know Tom has. We front loaded our microorganisms.
Yeah.
I mean, and to have, doing the research on this company, 3,500 types of beneficial bacteria. I think it's like 3,500 types of beneficial fungi. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I think that's what I heard Keith saying on the podcast that you did.
Right on, Kath. They did the DNA. Yep. I asked him if he would send it down to Mr. DNA in Texas, and he did.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why this product is so valuable is because people don't realize fish have two stomachs, one on the outside, which is that slime that you feel. That's called biofilm. Mm-hmm. And that's loaded with microbes who are pulling mineral out of the water. If you try to grow fish in RO water, they're going to shrivel up and die.
Right.
So they need those minerals. And so those are called solubilizers. And you won't get those in nature. We used to have that in nature due to mass migrations before humans had mass expansion, right? We got rid of all the migrations. But this was the only place that I could find that had, those solubilizing bacteria. And again, that was the foundation of my work before I even went to rodeo, was playing around with, fish manure, trying to figure out how to make it work well, get it so it didn't smell so bad, and made the plants just explode. So, yeah, not to mention diatoms. I mean, he's got tons.
Yeah, of I saw the comment come in on the diatoms. I was just about to get there. Another thing is, it's like, I mean, the shelf life. You got a 3-year shelf life on this.
That's because of the diatoms. Nobody else has that, right? Because they pump air into the friggin' environment. They take up sunlight, or they take out nutrient out of the water, and their waste is oxygen. And that's why they're so good in the soils, because now they're pumping oxygen down in the soil, and the bacteria are loving it because now they're in a very aerobic soil environment.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to give Fish Brew a shout out, and that's a very big key factor to our microorganisms in our system. So this is us putting that in. We layered every single layer of so it would go in. This is our sand and rock, our sand and rock layer. So we get one layer of Fish Brew in there. Then we come back and do another layer on top of the A horizon. And then on the O horizon, we watered in the Bold Flow.
All right, you keep talking. I got a real bad backache. I just got to grab some aspirin, but I can hear you from where I'm going.
No problem. All right, so just giving you guys an idea of how we put the Fish Brew in. Another picture. We got Caleb in the background putting in the A horizon. We didn't put the Fish Brew in until right before we were putting in the A horizon. We didn't want it to like dry out. So this is Brian putting in Fish Brew, and as you can see in the greenhouse right now, we have all the bags of A horizon and the built soil, because all the bags had to be brought into the greenhouse to thaw out. So yeah, I would highly suggest, if you're going to do this, to try not to do it in the middle of winter, because you will be dealing with a lot of headache of that. And I'll get into the reason we had to actually do a lot of mixing we didn't mix our first when we were doing our O Horizon. We brought in the sacks of the builder soil. They were frozen. And then we loaded our 2 beds on the sides, our beds 1 and 4. We just put the actual builder soil in without mixing it. It was sat around for about 8-9 months, so it got a little hydrophobic. So what we had to do on these next rounds, because it got so compacted, we ran it through a mixer. We ran our builder soil through our mixer, and what we did is we noticed that really homogenized it and actually loosened it up. And it's getting where my testing is now. I was actually testing beds 1 and 4 separately to beds 2 and 3 because it wasn't holding on to water as well as the first 2. It wasn't the beds 1 and 4 weren't holding on to water like beds 2 and 3 were after we mixed it. So this next round, we're going to have to do every single bag of builder soil. We'll have to go through our mixer, and it'll be ran through the mixer before we put it in the beds.
Very cool.
All right. So this is showing, this is a 6-yard cattle mixer, and it's on the left. There's a bag of the builder soil. So the way we were mixing, I went from, doing a 2-gallon mix to send into Logan to see where my numbers were as far as physical tests, sand, silt, and clay percentages, and then also macros and micros. So the way we did this was I did 1 yard of Milford Farms, sand, silt, and clay. Then I added my gypsum, and then we had a backpack sprayer. So my backpack sprayer had all my solubles. So molybdenum and boron, copper, and manganese. And so you'll see on this next slide, this is how we were doing it. So we would do so I did 1 bag of Milford Farms, sand, silt, and clay. Then I did backpack sprayer, the amount of gypsum, which I think was about 25 pounds. And that would be mixing. So then I'd have him come back with the skid steer, and we did about 1 yard of the silt and clay. Again, another bag of gypsum, and then a whole nother backpack sprayer as we were mixing. After that, because these are 4-yard mixes, we did 1 bag of builder soil for our organic matter. And then after that was 1 more yard of the Milford Farm sand, silt, and clay. And then we did add biochar. I did add about 3% biochar. So, and we pre-inoculated that before we put it into the beds.
Nice. Now, have you rehearsed this so you know how fast you're supposed to go? Because I want to make sure you get through this, and we still have time to chop it up. So
yeah, no. So we should keep. Yeah, I'll get rocking here. Sorry, I'm going on little tangents.
Yeah,
what I'm doing is I'm reliving it because when I put this together, I was like, it took me a minute to really. So this is kind of showing like it comes out of the mixer into a conveyor belt. So here we are kind of separating. You can see in the background there, you can see rock and then some big chunks of clay. So this is it was a project for sure. So this shows how we were putting it on the conveyor belt and having it go into the yard sacks. This is our A Horizon. So once we had a yard sack about full, we would take it out of there and it would go over to the greenhouse. And, hats off to the whole crew at Taproot Fields for helping us out. The farm crew really, stepped in and helped us do this. I came up with the plan and we really executed it, and it came out really well. And I'm going to show you guys the testing I did afterwards of the 2-gallon mix, and we can compare that to my 4-yard mix. And I think I did pretty well. You were happy with the sand, silt, and clay percentages for what I was dealing with.
Yep, absolutely.
So this is what it looks like. This is our A Horizon after it was mixed and brought into the greenhouse. Kind of gives you an idea of. I was doing these are all video, and I would take screenshots. This just shows you it was a hand clump, and we put it in our fist, and that kind of like basically showed you it's got some moisture in there. So this is how we put it in. As you can see, you got yard sack on the pallet jack there, and that's how we did it for these first few beds. So here we are again. This is our other coworker, Kate, who actually runs our dispensary. And for the first, about 8 months, she was really helping us in the greenhouse. She did every aspect of us of building out these beds, to helping me plant, to really learning how to do living soil. So hats off to Kate for really helping us out. And now she actually sells all of our fruits and wares in the dispensary.
Nice.
This is our O Horizon. This is Build the Soil. As you can see, this is mixed. So you can see it's kind of homogenized and mixed really good. It's got a nice darker color to it, whereas the bed in the background, a little bit lighter. That wasn't mixed, and that was the beds that went hydrophobic from the soil staying so just being compacted and being outside for so long. So this is Josh Cole, the mastermind of this build out of this grow. He's putting in irrigation. So we're using C-frame down sprayers. They put about 0.08 per gallons per sprayer. So we got it figured out. I really like these C-frame down sprayers because it's a sprinkle effect. You can do you can go down. The reason we really like them is we can go down the row and see if anything's not working. So really even watering. We were going to do blue mat, and then we decided against it. Drip tape, we didn't want to do that. We ran these in the last greenhouse and had really good success. So this is what we went with.
And another good point about using those is that they spray the water in very small particulate, and it goes through the air, so it's picking up oxygen naturally.
Yeah. That's another thing I wanted to start. We're thinking about. We have what is the oxygen, the bubbles, the nanobubble technology?
Nanobubbles. But hey, before you do that, talk to me. There's a lot of them are bullshit.
Okay. Well, we got one sent to us, so we'll talk about that on another time. Okay. So this is us putting in the irrigation, and here's the first plants that went in these beds. So as you can see, we put in clones. Like I said, we put in clones. I did 16 per square. This is the last slide in this video series. And so in this picture series, but so when we grew our first round, it was in the middle of summer. We didn't have enough airflow. I think we put too many plants in per bed. So you'll see on this next round of pictures on how we did the bottomless pots. We didn't have the option to do the bottomless pots on this round. So, but yeah, this kind of shows our first plants in our first build out. Sweet.
Do you think you're about halfway through?
Yeah. Yep. So because we're going to go into, we're definitely halfway through. Awesome. This will be a lot faster now.
Okay. Then I don't want you to take anything away from it. I mean, you're doing.
No worries. You want to do what, a half hour of questions and answers?
No, you only got 3, so we can buzz through those. So I'd rather the presentation. So
okay, great. So we're going to get into soil testing, and this is heavy metals. I really wanted to go over this with you. The reason I put these on here, this is because when we walked through it this last time, I figured it'd be good for the audience to know what you're looking for when you're looking at a heavy metal test and what's safe and what's not safe.
Yep.
So this is the concrete sand that we tested. Now I got to say, when you're doing this, every single thing you're putting into these beds, besides our build of soil, was all tested. And I was really adamant about that. You were too. You don't want to do this again.
No.
So, we're getting tested for it.
So the only thing that makes me nervous ever is arsenic, lead, and selenium.
Okay.
And mercury. I'm sorry. Molly's a beneficial. Zinc's a beneficial. Nickel's beneficial. Copper's beneficial. Chromium, cadmium. Those we don't want to see a lot of those. Basically, this is giving you the outline on the bad guys and the good guys. Now, the good news is you have to understand that if you have a little bit of these in the soil, it doesn't matter, because as long as the soil is complete. And what I mean by that is the plant will use the atomic table, which is the atomic weight. So the periodic table. So you have to look at the element like lead and look at the other elements around it. If there's an element right next to it that the plant needs for functionality, and you don't have it in your soil, it's going to pull up the lead to try to get that functionality. So those are the things. Is just look for the bad guys. Go to your periodic table, and look to the left and the right. Down a little bit, because it goes by atomic weight. And if you see something that's beneficial, like molybdenum, which is a big one, you want to make sure you have molybdenum so it doesn't take up something else.
Okay.
That's why I was so adamant about these tests.
Yeah. So we did have a little bit of a cadmium scare, and I know that plants, especially cannabis plants, will pull up cadmium. They'll pull it up.
They're a dynamic accumulator.
Yeah. So nothing crazy, but that's the only thing we've really seen so far come even close to a scare. But so that was the concrete sand, and then wrong way here. And then this was just the Milford Farms sand, silt, and clay.
Yep. And I remember they were all well within range, nothing to fear.
Yeah. So is that, and then this is kind of be cool to compare. So when I did my 2-gallon mix, I think my mix was 50% Milford Farms, 25% just what I did in the 4-yard mix, 25% silt and clay, and then 25% build of soil. Sent that in. I did I remember it was like 200 milliliters of water, and I added my copper, molybdenum, and boron and manganese. Put that into my mix, sent it in. Now, this is my physical test. This was a good thing to show. I still only hit 5% in my 2-gallon mix for clay, and I'm trying to get to 17. Correct?
Yep.
So I just wanted to show this comparison. So when I went to my 4-yard mix, look at my numbers now. I'm at 11, 26, 62. Pretty good.
Because remember, at the end of the day, you only need 30% combination of sand, of clay and silt. And during what's called remineralization, where the microbes steal all of the organic nutrients they can out of the organic matter, it naturally remineralizes into sand, silt, and clay. So your beds are constantly generating, and they'll balance out. So you don't have to stress at all. We were really happy with that.
Yeah, no, you were ecstatic with that. This whole like mixing, going to a 2-gallon mix to a 4-yard mix. I was can't say I wasn't nervous.
Oh, we had a lot of calls back then, bro.
Yeah, we did. I can't say I wasn't like a little, and then, but when I got the testing back, I was like, oh my God. When you saw it, you're like, dude, pat yourself on the back. You crushed it. And so I was really, really happy with how this mix came out, physical test wise. So I just wanted to show everybody that and go over that again. And just when you're doing this, you're doing it, you're sending in 2 cups. So you got to at least do 2-gallon mix. And I went over this with Bryant Mason, soil doctor. You said to get a hold of Logan for an agronomist. I was like, you know what? I'm working with Logan. I'm working with Bryant. I'm going to call him. And we kind of came up with, 2 gallons, and this is how we did it.
Yep.
So here is our saturated paste. And if you can break this down, I mean, I got, when we first started doing these mixes, I was at a 7-8 pH, a little high. We were thinking about putting, some fulvic acid in to try to get it lowered. But I think putting gypsum in as well helped it lower it a little bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it came to a 7.4. And now, if you want to look at, calcium, what were you really looking at on these tests? You really wanted to see calcium, and the calcium was spot on.
I want to see calcium, magnesium, and potassium in range, or then I've got to deal with them. So ideally, you want calcium up around 70, 75. That's perfect. Magnesium should be down around 15 to 20.
So a little high there.
And potassium between like 5 and 10. Yeah,
that was low.
Yeah, and so we knew that, and we were like, okay, compost is high in potassium, so that'll be fine.
Yeah, and this is
as you add your gypsum, it'll separate into calcium and sulfur, and that calcium is a double bonded ion, so it's going to knock off the magnesium, and it's going to fall into balance as the soil matures. So
yeah, and again, this is my A horizon, so it's kind of like the catch basin that's going to be catching all the stuff that goes through as I re-amend and
it's your bank. It's your cation exchange capacity bank.
Correct. It's my bank. Correct. And that's the reason why we're using clay and sand and silt, and the clay's got a lot of cation exchange capacity. So that is huge. So this is another thing I just wanted to show the comparison of how we got from 2 gallons to 4 yards. So I don't know if you wanted to look at this. I just put it on there. I know
it's really hard for me to read the numbers, but generally I use.
I can. Yeah, I can.
So generally speaking, I start with pH, right? I want to see what my pH is. Then I want to see, good cation exchange capacity. I don't want to see a lot of hydrogen production, because that means your pH is out of whack. Look at your exchange capacity, 34, dude, off the charts.
Yeah, well, that was my 2 gallon mix, and the 4 yard mix is what we're looking at.
Yeah, but this is great. I mean, I normally see cation exchange capacities in the soil I'm working with down around friggin' 8. So I get really excited when I see that.
Organic matter was at 365. Could it be matched?
Good. And we knew that was going to go up because of the O horizon.
Yeah.
Now I look at calcium, magnesium, potassium in pool. So what that means is this is total available in the soil. It's not available. It's bound up. But if you have the biology to break it down, then it will become available based on the plant's desire. So now the plant's got the tools to steer itself. So again, you had, really good balances. You weren't way out of whack. And again, I wasn't like really concerned with them. There was just more to see big time what you got. I also looked down at your what they call base saturation minerals. So those again are really important. Magnesium, calcium. Again, I can't read them all. And then trace. Yeah, trace is one of those that are so important that people don't respect.
Right.
So trace elements are a big part of this one that I care about. And then down in the other, I drift around and look at a couple things down there. And I was, I was really, really happy with your mix, and I knew that it would perform spectacularly once the plants hit the ground.
Yeah. All right, so we gotta go. There we go. So if I don't do that, it'll keep it. There we go. All right. So, all right. And then this just shows how I did my calculations. I used a soil calculator app to really do this. 64 feet long by 55 inches wide by 24 inches high. I mean, we weren't going 24 inches high. We were going about 19. So it really came down to about 1 yard per inch. So it was sort of easy to do, and I rounded up. But if you can look at these calculations, what I did, I mean, it's, there you got depth 1 inch, 0.91 cubic yards. So I just rounded that to a yard. And then with my middle horizon, it was a total of 6 yards. And you can see that where, you got 2.72, 1.63, 1.0. That's basically what it was, 6 yards of a horizon. And then the rest was build of soil, which was right around 9 to 10 yards. It could have been a little bit higher. It could have. Are you seeing that good?
Yeah, no, I can't really see it, but you're explaining it.
I can make it bigger. I can make this a lot bigger. Oh, is that better?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, let me know if I need to. I can see it really good because I got a big computer in front of me up top here. But yeah, if you need me to blow stuff up, I can.
Everybody get down. You're cooking me. These dogs are so hot.
So yeah, this kind of just shows you, what my calculations were on doing the build out and the spreadsheet that I put together.
That's perfect.
People can get a screenshot of that. And so yeah, I use a soil calculator tool. I'm sure people know about it. If you don't know about that app, it's called the soil calculator. It's awesome. Really awesome tool to use.
I actually use a cement mixing app. It tells you how many yards you need. But
okay. Okay. Yeah, that water meter you showed me. What is that from? Is it called High Tech?
The aerometer?
No, not the aerometer, because I am using those. But the handheld soil meter you showed.
Oh yeah. Something tech. I don't remember what. It's white.
High Tech, whatever. But I really correlated that because you want to go around and see where your dry pockets are. I am using aerometers. I got 6 per bed. I got 2 6 inches and 2 12 inches. I really wanted to get an aerometer down in the A horizon and see what my A horizon was holding.
Yeah,
compared to my 6 inches. And another thing I did, and this is, give people for reference, you really want to run some analog aerometers as well, because I have aerometers hooked up to the iCloud 10, but they don't show you live readings. So when you're doing a top feed or you're doing your watering, if you have an analog aerometer in next to your iCloud, your ones that are hooked to your iCloud, you can compare live.
Yep.
And know, okay, this one went down to 5 kPa. This one's at 5 centibars. So that was something I came up with the guy that works over at Sustainable Village, and that was awesome knowledge to have that.
Yeah, that crew at Sustainable Village is cool. They're good people.
Oh yeah, Cooper's my buddy. He's a big Fish fan, and we're big into the jam band scene. But he knows a bunch of my friends. It's so crazy, it's a small world. But we got talking. He's like, this guy, that guy, and it was funny because I met Cooper through Izzy Becker. Izzy doesn't work for Sustainable Village anymore, but that's who I met Cooper through, and that's who I work with now.
Gotcha.
So this next slides are basically showing our last harvest. This was round number 2. Show you. That's probably about 7-8 weeks in. I mean, it's not done, but
it's stacked up good though. Look at those freaking colors.
Yeah, man. I mean, just to give you guys an idea, this was 9 plants per square, and I forget what the dimensions are that square is, but that doesn't matter. But we went from 16 plants down to 9 plants. This was the 9 plants, and it really, really worked out. Well, yeah, look at that.
It tells you less is more often in these cases. You
Less
gotta
is more.
more
We had
than you would think.
exactly. You always learn from your mistakes. If you're not learning from your mistakes, then it was our first round in the greenhouse. It was the middle of summer. We definitely had some issues. It wasn't a failed round, but less plants really worked out. So we're doing 8 strains in this greenhouse. So we're splitting beds with 2 strains. So yeah, that's the Cap Junkie on the far side of the greenhouse there. Super Boof's next to it. You got what was this? This was the Sour Cheese Berry. I think Brandon Rust bred that strain. And then the next strain here on the right was Grape Gas. Or no, not Grape Gas, Grapes and Cream. That was all done for washing.
Nice.
So you can see our lights up there too. They're Foch 06 eyes. We have them on light lifters. And
nice.
I mean, those lights are 40 pounds. And just to raise and lower them on that last our other greenhouse, it was a lot. Reaching over, you could really tweak your back. We have them at a touch of a button. They're not cheap. I think they're about $7,000 a lifter, but we did the ROI just in electrical cost alone. You pay for these lifters in 18 months or less.
There you go.
That's an electrical cost, not to mention how much more par you're going to have on your canopy by using these.
Yep.
So
good investment.
I mean, they're amazing. If you got to spray, you got to spray something, you can just raise them up.
Yep.
So I think this was the Super Boof. And again, that was one of the.
I didn't want to know your yields. It must have been.
I'm not even going to share, but they were. Oh man, yeah, unbelievable. I was blowing Caleb away with the numbers on that one. So this is Super Boof. This is the one we actually won an award with a couple years back at the New York Growers Cup.
You've won a bunch of awards, dude. You're really kicking it.
Yeah, we did. We won a few. We've won a few. We our first ever contest we entered, we won them. It was crazy. It's New York Small Pharma. I believe I've brought some flour to you. You've smoked the.
Oh yeah.
The LA Kush cake, which is my girlfriend's favorite.
Dude, everything you've given me, I love it. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not stupid high in THC. It has just this wonderful euphoric feeling. You're creative.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to be careful how much I smoke of it, but I'll poke at it anyway and then wait to see what happens. And I've enjoyed everything that you've shared with me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. This was Max Stomper is what you're seeing right there. The other one I've shared with you is the Crazy Runts, which is it's a lemon tree back cross that was done by Exotic Genetics. Lemon tree back cross, which is a lemon tree back cross, and the cookies and cream F2 was the male for it's a strain called the Bonkers, and then he reversed this Runts. I think it was a Runts from the West Coast. I'm pretty sure like Fidel it was his cut of the Runts. I've traced that back to Fidel. And I think that was the Runts that he used. That is one of my favorite strains I've been smoking on for years. We got that strain, both those strains, the LA Kush Cake. I got the seeds from that. My buddy Craig Palmer from 6 Point Cannabis, he's given us those genetics. Those were both seed pops. So I really think that popping seeds is huge. You really got to find stuff that other people don't have, not something that you're not getting from a clone nursery that everybody else has.
Right.
And we just did our first seed pop. We popped 3 strains this month and looking forward to it. 2 of the strains I bred. I did it was a Super Boof times Orange Madness. And then Crazy Runts, the one that you've tried, times Orange Madness. Orange Madness is a strain that I bred about 6 years ago when I first got back here. It was Sunday driver or daily driver. times cookies and cream from a company called Finest Genetics. And then I crossed that with orange gelato, which was divine gelato crossed with Durban poison times mimosa. So it was a Durban poison mimosa is what he called it. But that Orange Madness is really kind of making waves back here in a few different places. I love it. The orange creamsicle terp is amazing.
Yeah, Ben had a really cool strain called something Orange Crush or something. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, the rosin from that. Did you ever try that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He brought that to my party one year. It stayed on your mouth for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I remember that. He got
really,
that. That was from his friend out in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Orange something.
Yeah.
I told him, like, oh, dude, this ought to be, on your regular list because
Totally.
it's so good.
So the cultivar on the left there is I think that's God, I'm kind of blanking right now. I think that's Trop Cherry. That's actual Trop Cherry.
Gotcha.
On the left there. And then the other one on the right, I believe might be early. I want to say that's early Super Boof. Not sure. This is me and Brian harvesting. This is a top cola Super Boof to kind of give you an idea of how big the colas were.
Gorgeous.
So I think this is the last slide in this series here. This is where I wanted to show, this is a bed harvested. And as you can see, I'm putting in 9 plants per square. And so I'm doing the same thing. Landry's doing, these are pots. Bottomless. We used a drill to drill about 7, a drill press. Brian, the guy Brian brought in his drill press from his house, and we did about 6 pots per drill. And so these are all bottomless, and we're doing the same thing Tom's doing, where we just put the plant next to it and plant the next one right next to it. So we're just kind of trading off. And everybody really got this tech from Steve Cantwell out of Green Life Productions, doing the bottomless pot tech. We can't do the grassroots fabric pots in our facility. We don't have the space to do them, so we went with these smaller pots, and they're made from Bootstrap Farmer. They're BPA free. Caleb found these, and they're working out great. Also, they're color coded, so there's 5 different colors, so you can kind of color code strains when you're replanting in the propagation.
I love to see the cover crop there too. You're keeping your living soil living. Which is
Yep. I haven't, this last time around, this is dichondra. I've had to really chop that back a few times. I think this last round, the cover crop got so out of control and so matted that it was taking away from the actual cannabis plants. So I think next time I'm going to rip it out pretty good, and I'm going to plant again. I'm going to do cover crop again. I want to start figuring out some sort of mulch layer that I'm not going to be bringing in, aspergillus, or, we brought in straw one time. We tested that straw. It had aspergillus on it. We're always getting tested. I'm not really doing any chop and dropping anymore with the cannabis. But I think I got to start. I'm thinking about using our cannabis stalks for a mulch layer.
Sure. Why not?
We have a ton of them. And I saw, a few different companies are doing that. When I was out at Collective Elevation, they weren't even using cover crop. They got away from it. They're just using old chopped up wood chip that's been ran through an autoclave.
Yep. It doesn't matter whether it's living or dead. It just needs to protect the surface of the living soil.
Yeah. So again, I don't know. I think if I do plant dichondra again, I like it. I'm just gonna go probably about a quarter of what they suggest to plant.
Gotcha.
Very light, because I think it just keeps going and going, and it just reseeds itself. So I think that's it on the cannabis side. But we wanted to get in. I know I sent you out some black garlic.
Oh, yeah.
you wanted to talk about that. So I really kind of, our last, whatever it is here, we can talk about the vegetable side of things. And here's a picture, an aerial view of Taproots. And yeah, like I said, when we first started off, there was nothing here. You can see right in the bottom right there, that first greenhouse, that just the hoop house right there. That was the first greenhouse we put up. And it was just a couple of us. It was like me, Lee, and Josh, and our friend Matt. And that was the first greenhouse we put up. Behind it, you got a soil shed there a solar shed that has some battery bank in there, and that kind of gives us some backup power for the farm. Not a lot, but it's pretty cool that we're utilizing solar. You got the head house back there. You can kind of see, let's see, I'll move this light here. You can see the greenhouses in the back, and then the vegetable greenhouses are in the back as well. And then off to the back there, you can see there's a whole area. There's another barn way in the back there. That's another vegetable area. That's where the garlic's grown. It's all evolving. And then right where that pond is to the right is where we're having our concerts. There's a big like stage in that area where we're going to start having live concerts. And this is kind of evolving to be an agritourism spot. The owner Josh is he's got a big vision for this place, and we've teamed up with the resort across the way, and I think we're really kind of like pushing towards agritourism, bringing people in for classes and how to teach them how to grow regeneratively, teach them how to make compost. We
have a guest coming up, Jimmy Perkins from Three Eyed Tiger. You definitely ought to reach out to him, and I can connect you guys, because he's doing something similar down in Florida, and he's basically mind, body, spirit focused.
Mm-hmm.
So he really gets the audience charged up, and he teaches you a lot of things about yourself that you don't know.
Nice.
So, yeah, so we'll get you two connected, because next summer, when it's brutally hot down there, I'm sure he'd be thrilled to go up to New York.
Yeah, that'd be great. And we're in the heart of the Finger Lakes. It's a beautiful area. We're on one of the cleanest lakes in the country. It's called Skaneateles Lake. And all these lakes in the Finger Lakes were carved out by glaciers in the ice ages about 10,000 years ago. Skaneateles Lake is one of the only lakes that's in the Finger Lakes that's naturally spring fed. Yep. And it supplies the whole city of Syracuse with water. So that is the watershed we're on right here in the Skaneateles area. It's a beautiful area. I grew up on Owasco Lake, which is right next door. But yeah, it's beautiful farmland, very rich and agricultural area for sure. So we're right in between. I'd say we're right in between Ithaca and Syracuse.
Gotcha.
In that area. So yeah, this is the farm. And like I said, when we first came, there was not even a road.
Well done, dude.
So this is on the farm side. Jamie Hunt, Jessica Howard are the two heads of that side. And this is they're growing all year round now in these high tunnels. So what we're growing right now is carrots, beets, radishes, turnips. All this produce is going to Skaneateles Fields Resort across the way, and Chef Esperanza is really utilizing everything coming out of our farm for her menu. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. So
I can blow this up. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. So this is what's going to be growing on the farm in 2026. You can see there's a lot. The farm crew is very busy, and they're busy all year round right now. And they're not as busy with the outdoor, but they're still growing all year round in the high tunnels. So
are you going to put in apple trees and stuff in the future? Or
yeah, they actually have. That's good. That's good. You brought that up. They actually have. They're doing apple trees. they're working with God, I'm spacing his name right now, and it's terrible. I am, but he does grafting.
Oh, nice.
He does out of Syracuse University. I mean, there was a National Geographic special done on this guy, and I'm mad I'm not remembering his name right now.
That's right.
But eventually, we have fruit trees that are going up the road. Let me go back here. So you see, like over up these trees right here. So these are going to be 5 different types of fruit all grafted onto one tree. So plums, peaches, cherries. These will all be different types. And so when they bloom all these different colors.
Yep.
So he's making a tree right now. It's called the 40 fruit tree. And that's what he's really famous for. And it's going to be in this area. They're going to have a tree that's going to have 40 different types of fruit on it. Excuse me.
What is he using for rootstock?
God, I don't know. I think it'd have to be. I can't talk to it right now.
It's all right. I'm always curious because they do a lot of that out here.
Yeah.
And they make a big deal out of it. They're like, oh, this combination works better than that combination. Blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, obviously the guy knows what he's doing if he's got 40.
Yeah, no, it's he's like I said, like National Geographic did a special on him.
Cool.
Let me see here.
All right, we're almost at an hour and a half. How many more slides you got?
Not too many.
Cool. And you are all the way up to 10 questions now. So,
uh-oh.
I thought we were gonna not have that as a problem, but
all right. So here's all the fruit. This is our composting. Like I said, we're doing a study right now, and Gene from Cornell University has really helped us start to like do our composting. We've done all sorts. We've done static piles. Right now we're doing thermophilic. And that's the whole farm crew that really does that. Jamie Hunt heads it. Todd Travis is a big proponent and actually does all the composting for us. We do. How could I tickle my throat? We do. We get all of our stock from like the city of Skaneateles. We get like leaves from the municipality. We get wood chips from a local tree service, Cougar Tree Service. We get beer waste from Prison City Beer, which is some of the best IPAs in the country. They're right close to us. So all of our compost comes from local places for free. It gets dropped off. Excuse me. Oh, let me actually shorten these down here. This is Jamie Hunt. This is the farm manager. He's also an incredible chef. And the guy who has made the black garlic, he is the guy that brought black garlic to my attention one day. And he brought over a charcuterie tray. We were working together, and I ate this. He's like, yeah, try this. And it was black garlic. I'm like, where has this been all my life?
Right?
What'd you think of that?
Oh, I loved it, dude. I've been putting that salt on everything.
Oh, yeah. The chamois salt and the black garlic salt. Yeah, the maple salt. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed all that.
I actually brought it to one of my favorite restaurants here, an Italian restaurant. And the guy I gave it to, I said, hey, go ahead and try it. Like, and he did. He was like the bartender, but he's like a part owner. And he put some on his food, and he's like, wow, that's really good. I go, show it to the chef. See if you'd be interested. I can turn you on to the source. And these chefs have such attitudes and egos. He's like, yo, I already have all that stuff. And I'm like, no, you don't have this shit, dude. There's another guy I'm going to show it to, too, because, sooner or later I'll find the right guy, because that stuff is special.
So he's teamed up with Syracuse Salt Company. Syracuse has big salt mines underneath the lake. And so he's teamed up with Syracuse Salt with our black garlic, and that's who's making our black garlic salt.
And so it's really important to know that you're using mineral salt. It has not been processed down, so it's junk.
Yeah,
it's got all the trace minerals in it, so it's a very valuable salt.
So I just looked up the guy's name. I'm sorry I didn't remember it. His name's Sam Van Aken, who does the 40 fruit tree.
Okay.
If anybody wants to look that up, it is mind blowing what this thing blooms like. And just to graft 40 different types of fruit onto one tree takes years and years and years to do that. So there was a National Geographic special done on him. And like I said, look him up. Sorry, I forgot his name there. I wanted to plug him.
Put it up for you. Sam Van Aken.
Yep. There you go. All righty. So let's see. There's the black garlic and the black garlic salt. I really wanted to showcase that. It's like one of our famous products coming off the vegetable side. I'm not being biased. I've tried all different types of black garlic around the country. I think ours is the best, and I'm not being biased. Jamie's a G with the whole black garlic. And then one last slide. I really wanted to plug the resort. I gave links to the resort. Really, I just wanted to showcase, what our food comes out looking like. So on the left there is they use black garlic on the breakfast pizza. It's one of my favorite breakfast pizzas of all time. And then pappardelle pasta. And then I don't know what that other dish is there, but I wanted to just showcase what the cuisine has looked like from Chef Esperanza on Skaneateles Fields Resort. And I gave the links to everything. Skaneateles Fields Resort is just opened. It's an 88-room hotel resort. It's got a beautiful landscape. It's got pickleball, bocce ball courts, a huge outdoor pool that's heated all year round, outdoor hot tubs, to a beautiful I'm trying to think, the spa is what I was looking for. Spa, the resort, the spa is amazing. So that has just been opened, and we're really looking forward to the partnership with those guys.
Oh, hell yeah. Now you got Eco Tourist plus rooms.
Yeah, and then doing events and concerts. We're looking forward to the future.
Dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, and it is. I mean, it's been coming to fruition now for about 4 years, and so it just opened this past December. So, yeah, the
timing couldn't be better, dude. It all came together for you.
Yeah, it really has.
All right, let's dive right into these questions, so we see if we can punch them all out before I got to bounce.
And just to let everybody know, the links are in the YouTube description for everything that he's talked about. So if you want to go vacation in New York, the link's there for what he was just talking about.
All right, I'm sorry I'm moving around, but I'm trying to get this kink out of my back.
I'm not going to say anything because my wife will slap me if I do. So first question from Squishy Mirror. What are the environmental impacts of harvesting sand, silt, and clay? Is there any sustainable way to do it without destroying land while sourcing it?
So that's where the Milford mine came into play, because they were disposing of an organic matter, needed the clay and the sand. But to be honest with you, there are mines all over the place. You don't want to just go digging holes in your backyard doing this. You go to these sand mines, for building golf courses or concrete. The clay mines and clay and silt are generally mined for golf courses. Developments happen, and mines are opened up. Sustainable. You're taking dirt, putting it somewhere else, right? At the end of the world, it's not like you're mowing down a forest, right? That's environmental impact. But these mines have been there for ages, and so I appreciate that, so that he does understand that we're not opening up mines. We're going to places where it's already mined.
Yeah, that's where we're getting it from, a place right down the road, and that's a mine that's mining rock and sand, and that's just almost like a waste product.
Yeah, it's a byproduct. They try to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we weren't really mining it for silt and clay. It was already done.
Yeah, it's not organic, and if it's not organic, it's not alive. It's rock. It's what the glaciers put there and the river is put there to get the sand and the rock. But next question from Cass. Do you or have you thought of a cover crop?
He did.
Yeah, I used dichondra for my cover crops. Yep.
And now he's thinking about moving into mulch, which I think is a great idea. There was another company I worked with, a big hemp producer, and they had mountains of stalks. I'm like, why are you not chipping that up and covering the tops of all of your pots and using them in the fields to keep the weeds down? And he was like, damn, I never thought of that. So those will work fantastic for you.
I love the idea of shredding the cannabis stalk because it's the exact molecules to build the new cannabis plant is what's being broken down. I think that is just perfect.
That's my plan. Yeah, I'm just going to dry the stalks out, chop them up, and have that's the plan.
So Cass, again, the lights that high doesn't make the plants run.
No, I mean we've kept the lights about 4 feet off. That was suggested by Foch. We haven't really had, and we can at the touch of a button, I can raise and lower them to where I want them. So we run, and they dim down as well. So I run that runs off a par sensor that hooks to the other sensor, and then we can just keep our par exactly where we want them. Those lights are never being ran at full speed.
And using the par meter, you're getting the proper DLI at the plant. So that's what really matters.
Correct. Yeah, every stage of the plant is getting the correct amount of par we want to give them.
Yeah. I think his next one is on what is the irrigation sub or above, and you've already talked that it's the above the C clamp. I think you called it
micro.
Oh yeah, C frame down sprayers. Yep.
And again, that's a great way of watering.
It's almost like a sprinkler. Yeah.
You could see them, so you know you got a problem, but also it's throwing these tiny little drops of water through the atmosphere where they'll pull up all kinds of oxygen.
Yeah, it's about a 1 foot radius on those sprayers all the way around. So you just every plant I have 9 of them. Every plant kind of gets one sprayer. And we raise the sprayers as we go. They're a little bit lower when the plants are low, and then as the plants and we bottom the plants, skirt them, we can raise them up and get bigger spread.
And you did mention when we were talking before, you do a soil drench every once in a while, and you are getting moisture coming out of the bottom of the horizontal system.
Sometimes
so it's saturated. Yeah.
Yes. I do a drench once a week.
Cool.
Nice rain event.
Yeah, I mean when you're putting in a top dress, you're re-amending. You want to do a drench. You want to drench and get that top dress into the rhizosphere. So yeah, you're not going to do it with those C-frame down sprayers. You want to do it with a drench. Yeah. And I haven't really been doing teas yet because I've already pre-inoculated my beds, and I've been doing just anything that's soluble, I will put in as a top drench, and I've been running Rootwise as well for some more microbes, and last 3-4 weeks of flour, I've been running some molasses as well, and then running some humic.
Yeah, and that's going to take care of your population, so you really don't need compost extracts or teas. Yeah. The only thing that they would provide beneficial is if you make them like they look like chocolate water where they don't fall out of suspension. Now you're putting organic carbon back in, but you don't need to do that. You've got so much organic matter that's naturally breaking and cycling down. Yep. You're good to go, dude, what you're doing.
Yeah. Cass, again, anyone know if adding biochar increases organic matter?
Absolutely not. It's a form of carbon that takes forever to break down. The benefits are it creates aeration and does create pockets for microbes to grow and populate and expand out into the environment next to them. But it doesn't provide that.
Okay, that covers that one. And How did you take physical analysis soil tests? Plug sampling after the bed is made, or big shovels, or whatever?
So soil, when we send in a soil sample, it's an add-on. It's called textural or particle size. It's at Logan Labs, and you send in 2 cups of soil, and what they do is they run it through different types of sieves, so they could see how many particles or what percentage are superfine sand, what percentage is coarse sand, what percentage is clay, what percentage is silt. So that's basically how they do it. It's just sieving it. So it's not a hard test, and I think by itself it's like $30, so it's pretty cheap. You basically take soil like 6 inches deep. You don't want to take the top, and you don't want to go down into subsoil. So you're looking to harvest your A horizons for you.
Yeah, it's a physical test, and it's not even on the actual Logan Labs sheet. You have to put it on the bottom. It's not even an option to do it. You have to say, I want to do a physical test.
It's the other box.
I think it was more on how do you get the dirt from the bed, or you have a probe that goes down, grabs the dirt out?
He does it before.
Yeah,
you don't want to disturb the bed once it's built.
Okay.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, I think that was more the answer we were looking for.
Okay. Yeah, the physical test I was doing was just to get the sand, silt, and clay percentages of the A horizon and get those correct.
So if you wanted to do a soil test like a year after the bed, Leighton, would you use like a probe and go down and just take
I've told people that if you're going to do that and you're looking to do your A horizon, you just got to open up the organic layer between crops. You don't want to do it while the plants are alive. And then reach down and take a scoop of the A horizon. The O horizon, you don't test that way. You test it like a compost test, so it's a different game. And you don't have to test the sand once it's in. So,
yeah. Cool. We got the answer he was looking for anyway. So his next one, Cass is the one giving us all the questions here. Plant staggering, like you said, you had 18 when you started, and then you went down to 9. Are you staggering things, or how are you setting it up?
Yes, that's the way I'm doing it. I'm staggering. You could saw on that one slide there. I basically have 9 plants. We harvest. I leave the pots in. And I plant right next to the other ones. The other ones could probably be taken out within a couple weeks. As soon as those, I don't want to disturb it, but as soon as the roots start to like decompose, they can be taken out.
Yeah, they pull out. They're a joke.
They pull right out, and you just basically take the stem out, and that's it.
Okay, then.
Good microbial community gobbling that stuff up.
Oh yeah, breaks it down so fast. It's amazing. What do you do with the soil after harvest?
What do I do with the soil after harvest? I leave it in the bed.
Right. I think what he's looking for is like amending. Maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I amend. I basically, I take a soil test twice around. So right before I harvest, I take a soil test, send that in for testing. Comes back. I run it through a calculator that's Brian Mason, soil doctor calculator. I run that through the calculator, see what I need to amend. And I usually, if I need to, if I get it back and I need to like really call him and talk to an agronomist about it, I will call him. But usually, I just basically take a test at the end and know how to re-amend. And then about 2 to 3 weeks into flower, or right before, if I want to take 3 tests, but usually it's just 2 tests. One when I'm about 2 weeks into flower, then I take that other test to see if I need to amend anything else. If I don't, I let it ride. Usually I'm adding some more potassium and some manganese. That's basically what I've been having to add. I've been using potassium silicate.
Nice. Love potassium silicate.
Yeah, Axel 16.
His next question, you kind of covered it, but I think you're doing both. Do you make your own seeds or buy third party?
We third party as well, but I've been doing a lot of breeding the past 6 years with a friend of mine, Craig Palmer, 6 Point Cannabis. we've started a little company. I haven't really launched it yet, but we've been getting some really good results. And I'm growing right now. I'm growing Crazy Orange Madness for the first time, which was the Crazy Runs times My Orange Madness for the first time in the greenhouse. And we're about to take that down next week. So that particular strain's about to hit the New York market, and that has not ever hit the New York market yet. And that's pretty much my favorite strain, and not being biased, that's my favorite strain in the greenhouse right now.
Now, are you going 100% from seed, or did you get one, nice mother plant and you're going clone?
Yeah, popping seeds and then pheno hunting.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going straight from seed.
Cool. It's really hard when you get too many males in the batch,
Yeah, you can't have that.
No.
Not in the commercial scene. No way.
Yeah. What is your IPM process? Do you add in beneficials?
Yeah, we have this last round we added Swerskis. I had some thrip issues, and so I did some stratiolaps for soil mites, aureus, pirate bugs, nematodes as well. I used SF nematodes. I did about 3 million per drench. That took care of the thrips. I've never really been able to get rid of the thrips, and we knocked them back pretty good this time around, but I did use beneficials. We use sulfur in our propagation, micronized sulfur. And then also I use a product called Organoshield that works really well. But I can't spray anything. I don't dare spray anything after 1 week of flower.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's beneficials and some sprays.
You offer farm tours. I usually go to the Finger Lakes in summer. Would love to visit, and I think that's just all through the link that's in.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be doing a lot more farm tours, and then that comes down with the whole agro-tourism. If you keep on our website, especially Taproot Fields, you could definitely get a farm tour going there. As far as touring the greenhouses, we kind of stepped away from that. We had some issues this year with root aphids and some other pests, and we're we got the closed door on the greenhouses at this point. If you're going to get a greenhouse tour, you're going to be suited up, and we've kind of closed the doors on that for now.
Very smart move. Very
smart. 100% smart. Yeah.
Hey, just throw a couple plants outdoors for the people that want to see the cannabis plant, right?
Yeah. If you're up in the Finger Lakes, definitely come up and see us and check out the resort, and definitely come up and see the farm. You could definitely on the Taproot Fields website, they'll be telling you when they'll be doing classes and tours.
And Cass, bring them some cranberries.
Right. Oh, dude, this guy makes cranberries. I burned through all of them, man. I threw like he does, like 3 or 4 of them in my water bottle, and it just gives us a nice little ting.
Nice.
Yeah, Cass, give him some freaking cranberries, dude.
Now, this one's for you, Leighton. How do I compost chicken manure quickly?
Oh, that's a great question. So the best way to do it is it has to be ground organic matter and fresh. You don't want it going through the compost. And what happens is it steals the nitrogen. So brand new chips, any kind of brand new chips or freshly ground organic matter will suck that nitrogen up so fast. It keeps the odor down. You should be using it 12 inches of it underneath your chickens. Let your chickens play in it. I mean, it sucks up all the shit, man. And you get rid of the odor, you store the nitrogen in the chips, and it works extremely well.
Cool. That's a really good way to get your wood chips going in full, right.
And they're not going to compost. They're not going to start composting and heating up because they're only 12 inches deep. But they will suck that nitrogen up and store it like nobody's business. And then you're going to have rocket fuel compost out of those chips.
Cool.
Change it. It starts to smell, you just change it.
Yeah. Or add some biochar to get rid of the smell.
Well, again, like that, if you're looking to like reuse it as a nitrogen source, which is what that was appearing, I wouldn't bother using biochar. I would just use that fresh chips, and then once it starts to smell, get rid of them and put the other stuff in. Put a new batch in.
Cool.
Yeah, I was talking to Jamie the other day about the guy that is the head of the composting, and could we use fish brew to inoculate our compost? Would that be something we could spray into it? No, I know it's expensive, but you could probably dilute it and really get some nice microorganisms in there.
So there's a company I'm working with out here called ESS, Ecosphere Sciences. Been working with them for over 3 years now. And they have a food processing system that we're still kind of perfecting. But we use that on brand new compost at Agerman, which is the largest compost producer here in California, on one of their many compost yards. We spent 3 months working with them. We took their absolute crap compost, sprayed it with this stuff, and turned it into rocket fuel. Like Dave Camarino was like, I've never seen a nematode in my life. I've never seen flagellates in our stuff. And I go, that's what this food waste shit does. It just provides the spores, the cysts, and everything onto your carbon source, and of course it's going to go crazy.
Yeah.
So keep your ears out. For now, fish brew is fine to just help start it, but this will be way less expensive.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to get connected with Andy and do some biological testing here.
Yeah.
In the future, so we can maybe talk about that in another episode.
Well, she's offering a new product now. Basically, it's just like an overview, and it's really affordable. Even her regular full-on test is still, I think, $130, $150. It's cheap, right? And she gives you a report. This isn't a rubber stamp friggin' bullshit that everybody gets. She really takes the time to talk to you about exactly what she saw, things that you could perhaps do to make something better. I love Andy Marsh. I'm 100% sold on that girl. And she does amazing work.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And the only thing is, you got to go on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Send her, hey, I've got a sample I want to send you. Don't take the sample. Wait for her to reply back and say, okay, send the sample on tomorrow or today or whatever. Then go take your sample and send it to her. And as soon as she gets it, you're on board. So there's no lapse. She's really on her way to make sure that
her lab's out of Texas.
Yeah. But again, you don't have to worry about your sample sitting around somewhere for weeks.
Right.
To it.
Right. That makes sense.
She won't always get you the report back right away, but trust me, the samples are done, the notes are taken, and when she has time, she'll send you the report.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we can wrap a little early. I'm seriously in some pain here. So,
man. Yeah, let's get you off then.
Yeah. As long as I can start walking around and do some stretches, I'll be fine.
Yeah. I know about back pain. I got
dude.
Lower lumbar, L5S1 for me. Terrible.
Same, dude. Same.
Oh, it's the worst.
I got that. I got a discectomy on that. Now the one above and below are fucking totally herniated.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway, hey, dude, thank you, Travis, so much.
Yeah.
That was one hell of a presentation, dude. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It works perfectly with our timing. So
yeah,
that was by far one of the best guests and presentations that we've had, on the show. And I'm sure Ken will stand up to that.
Oh,
no, I really appreciate that. I got to give hats off to my girlfriend for helping me out doing the slides and really helping me. I'm not a computer savvy person, but she is, and she really helped me out with this. And it was
give her a big hug and kiss tonight.
Oh, she gets the full treatment from me for sure.
Nice. And Ken, as always, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to put this together, and all the behind the scenes work, which people don't realize what's involved.
Thank you. And guys, next week, we're going to finally have Tom Landry on.
My hero.
Yeah. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to have Travis, Tom Landry, and Josh from Yellow Skunk Farms on for a panel on the horizontal soil system. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned. We should be back with Andy on Wednesday, and the ladies should be back on Chiropractic is Sexy on Thursday. So Guys, peace out. We will see you on Wednesday.
And we have a guest special star, rock star dude coming up after that. So, and then I think Perky's coming on after that. So,
Cool. We should get Andy Marsh back on as well.
Yeah, we probably should. It's been a while.
Yeah.